Hey guys, welcome to this episode of The Rachel Cruze Show. And I feel like it's just a crazy time right now in the world when it comes to people's jobs. The great resignation is happening, and there's more than 10 million jobs available today. And people are just all over the place, it feels like. So when people are all over the place when it comes to their jobs, I'm like, Ken Coleman, will you come on and talk about this?
Yes, I'm here.
So, Ken.
How are you?
Welcome back.
Good to be here.
Thanks for being here.
Crazy times are right. That's a great description.
Okay, so let's just go high level with this.
Yeah.
Just from my perspective, what I'm seeing.
Okay.
There are still industries from 2020 that are not back to where they were. Now people are even physical locations. They're working from home more than ever. People are like, oh, I can buy an RV and work from it and travel the world with my kids. It just feels like this whole world of just quote unquote corporate America or jobs or offices or whatever is blown up. That's my feeling. So give me like the facts. Is that true?
It's absolutely true. So when the pandemic hits, you have everybody forced to just go home. I mean, there was no choice. And then as you had certain states, and we all know how politicized this has gotten. So depending on where you were in the United States, you couldn't go back. And then in certain parts, the companies came back. And so then you had a big swath of the American working population who said, you know what? I dig working from home. I'm not going back ever. Well, that's all great.
Sure.
Until you run out of opportunities to just do that. Are there going to be companies that will always have work from home exclusively? Yes. But by and large, we're seeing even major companies like Google, for an example, who they did send everybody home, but now they want people back. But they're using a hybrid model. So this hybrid model is new. So basically what that is they want you in the office some, but then you can also work from home or work from wherever. But we saw companies like Google and Facebook do this where they said, okay, if you're in a major metropolitan area and we ask you to come back and you choose not to come back, that's fine. We'll let you work remote from wherever that is. But if you're outside the city, we're going to cut your pay by 15%. So the reason I share that is this desire to work from home, I'm all for it. But at some point, you're going to limit your opportunity if you say, this is my stance.
Okay.
So that's one big factor that's happening, and people are going, that's all I want to do. Well, great for you, but you may end up working for yourself from home because it's going to be limited. Companies are asking for people to come back.
Yes. Okay, so that's a conversation
That's
happening.
one big piece.
And then what are some other big pieces that are involved in this discussion? Because it just feels like an apple turnover, basket turnover. What's that saying?
100%. Yes. I'm not even sure what that is, but I know what you're talking about.
Apple
fruit
turnover? Basket turnovers?
Fruit basket turnover. I know these are great desserts, and I'm hungry all of a sudden.
Something like that.
Yeah. So in August, we saw the record number of people leaving jobs. Now, they didn't just go home and quit. They left their current job and went to a new job. 4.3 million was the number.
Golly.
I just saw that we're going to see September's numbers. We don't know the exact number, but they're higher.
Dang.
And some economists are saying that October's numbers will be even higher. What will it look like as we move through 2021 into 2022? So it's being called the Great Resignation. I think it's the Great Revelation. And I think what's really going on is I think that the pandemic did two things. I mentioned earlier that there was this forced change. I mean, if you look at March of last year, we were in New York doing media, and the world was shutting down while we were there in March of 2020.
Yes.
So in the pandemic, we didn't know what was going on. Nobody did.
That's right.
So
we thought Manhattan was going to close. Remember that?
Did.
I was like, we're going to be stuck on this
We didn't think we were going to get out of there.
I know.
And so the idea here is what happened? Forced change. To the point we've never experienced change before. Our kids came home, we came home. It was a completely different lifestyle. Then you had on the other side, that's one storm. Then on the other side was the uncertainty of health.
Yes. Yeah.
People, we would turn on TV and see a death ticker.
Yeah. Yeah.
How serious is this health thing? Mortality and massive lifestyle change, two storms coming at us. And I think it made people take stock. Where am I in my life? Am I doing what I do? Life is uncertain. Life is short. Life is precious. All those things. And I think that's had people go, all right, you know what? I'm going to level up. I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to work like I used to work. I want to go do this. And I think that's all feeding this great resignation. And then if you put the kind of the match on top of everything, it's that companies right now, there's more jobs available than there are people who are unemployed.
Yes.
So what's happened there? Well, there's more types of jobs, different jobs. So people go, why do I want to work crazy weekend hours waiting tables?
Yes. Is this the service thing?
Yes. That's why they can't hire anybody.
Yeah.
Because they go, I can work from home and do a technology job, or I can drive Uber, or I can deliver. That's what's going on. And so it's just got companies and people all going, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? And so there's this big, I think it's musical chairs. I think that's what's happening. Remember that fun little game?
1,000%.
We're all
yes.
running around, and I think it's going to be this way for a while.
Okay, so I want to get to like the individual, but
Yeah.
before we go, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but like, do you see it? Do you see any signs of it settling, or do you think it's going to be another 24 months of this musical chair game?
I'm not willing to say how long it's going to be before it settles, but I do think it settles.
Yes.
Because what's happening is you're going to see companies adjust. So you're going to see, and I'm not going to get into this right now, you'll see artificial intelligence and automation is going to be a big play. I think your traditional, let's call it B, C+, B minus, C+ dining experience. I hate to pick on Chili's, but a restaurant chain like that, I think you're going to see that go away. I think you're going to see your fast self-serve that's highly automated, and I think you'll have your high-end experience where people are willing to pay for an experience, ambiance, and food. I think that's going to survive. So I think you'll see some shifts, and then when that happens, then you'll see it right size a little bit.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Nobody knows is the real answer.
Sure. Which is very smart to say. I remember I did an Instagram Live April of 2020, and people were like, when is this going to end? When will the pandemic? And I was like, probably like July. Like, I said that.
Well, it depends on who you talk to, right?
I have no idea.
Right, yeah. It depends on your definition of pandemic.
Lord have mercy on my soul. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so for someone watching or listening, and they're saying, that's me though, Ken. I had a health freak out, and I realized, God, my life is precious, and I home my all of this, and I'm wanting a different change when it comes to the career. How do you coach people on finding a new career path?
Well, I love that. So we want to get clear. I mean, you just got to get clear on what you bring to the table. So we start with talent. Because think of talent as your tools, premium tools. No one wants to go out and do a bunch of carpentry work with a handsaw, right? We want power saws. And so you got to think of your talent, the assembly of which allows you, okay, this is what I can be really, really good at, and I use these as tools. Then we want to look at what's the kind of work that I love. And if you're spending less than 75% of your day doing something that you really enjoy, I'm telling you, that's going to catch up. That's why we're seeing people move on. Yes. They're looking for, shouldn't it be a little bit more enjoying than it is now? And I think that's part of it. And then the last piece is, what are the results that I want to create? So we teach this clarity, which is, I use what I do best, talent, to do work I love, passion, to produce results that matter to me, mission. The millennials, your generation, the number one demographic in the workforce in America today, they by far of any working generation in American history, they care more about the values that they have personally connecting to the values of the organization, even the product or service they deliver, and then how they deliver it. So I think you're going to see more and more of this. So we want people to get clear first, because once I'm clear, then I can see, Rachel, there's more than one job.
Yeah.
There's more than one career path, and there's more than one dream job. That's what I want people to understand, because, it's this intense, scary thing. It's like choosing the person you're going to marry. That's intense. Like, this is the decision. And I want people to relax. There's nothing to freak out about. If I'm using what I do best, my talent, to do work that I really enjoy, and it's creating results that matter to me, guess what? You're going to experience fulfillment and meaning in that work. So that's where we start. Now we're looking at the right things.
Yes.
Not just licking the fingers, sticking it up in the air and going, I hope this is a good job for me.
Yep, absolutely. And you talk about getting qualified.
Oh, yeah. Now you got to.
So kind of walk me through that. Does it cost money to do that? Give me all the.
All right, so once we're clear, and let's say we've got 3 different career paths, we're going to look at these and go, which one do we think we're most in alignment with? And we're going to pick one, because one's going to make the heart flutter a lot more than the others. Now we got to get qualified. And there's 4 simple questions you got to answer. What do I need to learn? That's the education piece. Does not necessarily mean a degree. It just could mean qualification, online certification. So what do I need to learn? What do I need to do? Is there some experience, just base level experience? The answer is yes. There's always going to be base level experience. So you got to figure out what do I need to learn, what do I need to do, and then how much is that going to cost me? And then how long is that going to take? Those are the 4 questions. What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? How much is it going to cost me? We got to look at that budget right there and go, oh, it's going to take me 24 months of doing this online at night because I can't afford to go all in. Or whatever the situation is. And that answers that next question. How long is this going to take? Now I've got a plan. Oh, in 36 months, I'm going to be totally qualified, ready to go. Now that's not as intimidating. when I know how long all of this is going to take. So once we're doing that, now we want to get connected. See, I can be talking to people who are doing what I want to do. I can be volunteering, shadowing in places that I want to be in while I'm getting qualified. And the reason we do that, Rachel, is because we want opportunities to come to us before we've even got qualified. They go, oh, Rachel, we want you. You're going to be ready in April of 2022? Yeah, great. We'd really like to extend an offer to you. So that way, we're not just always running this, what's going to be next? What's going to be next? Well, if we walk this plan out, opportunities will come to you and you're going to be ready. And then you walk right into it, you get started. So that's how you get in. By the way, that works for people who want to pivot.
Yes.
So I've been in this career, I've been in accounting, and I want to go into project management, for instance.
Yes.
That's the process. I'll just walk it out very practically. So do you need a degree to be in project management? No. Great news, but you can get certified. So what does it cost, to get certified in a project management program? Great, I get that cost. I don't need a bunch of experience to get this level of job, so that's great. So now I go do that. And before I know it, I'm there. And here's the greatest part. I didn't interrupt my income. Because people ask all the time, can you do this, Ken, and walk the baby steps out? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I tell everybody, don't ever quit the baby steps. Figure out how you can get qualified, get connected, and get started while walking the baby steps.
Oh, that's so good. And for people that are saying, okay, I'm going to be doing all of this and applying for a new job, resumes.
Yes.
This is a big conversation.
Big.
People talk about this a lot. Like, what are a couple of points you have or tips for people as they're creating their resume?
I love this question. So think of your resume as a brochure. So it's not your biography.
Yes,
no one wants to read your life story, so
Yeah.
stop. Because a lot of people stress out. So we teach, number one page and most relevant information. You don't have to put your entire work experience. People say, Ken, do I need my whole work experience? No, you can provide it if they ask. But what we teach is you put your most relevant information in there, because remember this, two key things. The average amount of time that a hiring manager spends looking at a resume, what would you guess? Any kind of guess? What would you say? How much time do they
4
spend?
seconds.
Wow, impressive. 7.4. Most people,
I was going even
lower, but most people would guess, 60 seconds?
Yeah.
Not
sure.
even close.
Well, I just would think they're like scanning.
Well, you nailed it.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is what are they trying to determine? If you are qualified enough to have a conversation to decide if you can help them win, take all the pressure off the resume. We created a free resume guide at kencoleman.com that actually walks people through it. The third point I'd make on the resume is this. We flip the resume. Traditional resume templates, Rachel, have references on the bottom of the page or on the second page. We flip it. We lead with who I know. And the reason is we want hiring managers to stop and see something that they've never seen before and make them go, it's kind of that number.
Yeah.
By the way, it's working. And we want to lead with who I know. I have a connection to this person over in this department, or I know this expert in this field. And then there's a strong endorsement statement from the person. It's a total game changer because it makes the hiring manager go, And so that's one real technique that stops their eyeballs. And if there's the right relationship there with the right endorsement, you're already ahead of the pack.
For sure.
So that's a real quick how-to on the resume. And again, if people want to check it out, it's free, kencoleman.com.
Okay.
We have a full guide, PDF walks you through what to do, how to do, and we actually give you a free template.
Love it.
Yeah.
So once the resume's out, they say, perfect, we want an interview.
Yeah.
What are a couple of things questions maybe that people usually get in interviews so that they can feel confident and like, I know what I'm doing.
So I love that you bring up confidence. So how do you get confident in what is, for most people, the most anxiety-ridden performance of their life? The job interview. How do you get confident? Well, it's preparation. Relentless preparation leads to reflexive performance. I love to use the football analogy. You know how much I love football. These quarterbacks that can operate an entire series going from the end zone to end zone in a minute and a half.
Yeah.
How do they do that? Well, they've practiced that 2-minute drill so many times. They know the plays, they know the cadence, and so it's instinct. And so here's what we know about the human brain. It'll recall about 70 to 75% of the information you put in it, even under most stressful situations. So prepare ahead of time. What are the questions that you're going to be asked? Think of that. How would you answer them? And then you brought up the what I think is the best point, and that is the questions that you ask in the interview are the ones that'll set you apart. Most people, when asked, do you have any questions? They'll go, no, I'm good. Or how many vacation days do we get? Or what are benefits?
Right.
It's like, what? No. You've got to ask. Here's a couple of samples. describe the person that wins in this role, or describe the person that wins in this company. What does the relationship look like between this position and the rest of the team? Like, those are questions that are actually going to yield good answers.
Yeah.
Because
and
then
give you good information about the role.
Give you good information about whether or not you think it's a good fit for you.
Yep.
And the added bonus of, wow, this is a thoughtful person. Rachel asked really great questions there. She's sharp. She's thinking about this. And one final thing on this, remember that the job interview is as much for you as it is for them. I think we go into this thing feeling this sense of performance. And the reality is, yes, we got to perform well. But you know what? We also got to ask the right questions and listen intently to figure out, do I think I'm a good fit here?
Yes.
Because the last thing you want to do is
Totally.
jump into a job and leave 6 months later
Yep.
because it was a horrible fit.
Yes. Okay, so last interview question. 'Cause I know how much you love a little style, Ken Coleman.
I do love style.
What people wear.
Yeah.
Things have changed since the
Yeah.
old 90s. I don't know why
It's
I don't know why the 90s popped in my head.
Because
but
for you, that is the old 90s.
It's the suit and tie.
How old were you in the 90s?
Do what?
How old were you in the 90s?
I was anywhere from 4 to 14.
That's my point. So the old 90s, that was very
I
real
know.
for
How old
you.
were you, Ken?
Well, I graduated high school in 92. Ouch. Wow, I'm so
You're
much
like
older
my
than Rachel.
elder.
I
You're
am.
bringing so much wisdom.
So much wisdom.
The
little bit
next
of gray,
generation has
little bit of gray.
spoken, everyone.
Yeah, that's right. I love the
know.
90s, by the way. Great music and great style. Okay, so here's the answer on style.
All these Gen Zers trying to redo the
I
90s.
know.
I was like, no, y'all are cute 90s. Do you know
No.
what? I used to look like I was homeless. That
Exactly.
we would wear. Oh, it was
yeah,
terrible. Anyways, keep going.
Listen, I know. All right, so here's the deal. Simple rule. Dress to the level of everybody else in the room. So find out. You can talk to HR.
Yeah.
You can ask somebody. It's not inappropriate to ask even the hiring manager. If it's a small business, hey, what do you guys wear around the office? What's your normal dress code? What's
Yes.
everybody wearing? That's what you show up with.
Yep.
It's okay if you want to dress up. I'm not a fan of it, so I'm not going to recommend it. You know, the Ramsey solution is a great example. What I'm wearing today is pretty normal. You know, guys wear hats here sometimes. I wouldn't ever wear a hat
Sure.
to an interview unless it's a farm interview or a warehouse where everybody's wearing hats.
Yeah.
Then dress like them.
Totally.
You know, because here's the reality. If you overdress, it can sometimes make you look stuffy and like maybe you're not a good fit. Like this dude's rocking a 3-piece suit.
Some
and-
suspenders. Look
yeah,
at
I'm
that.
not sure I trust him, right? You know,
Cufflinks.
and you don't want to underdress. So
Yeah.
I would dress exactly the way
good.
that everybody else is. Here's what you want. You would want someone to mistake you for an employee if you got lost in the building. That's my rule on that. Just dress like everybody else.
So great.
Look like you fit in.
Okay, so as we wrap up, all great stuff. I have had conversations with friends about this subject, so I was
Okay.
like, I'd be curious what Ken Coleman has to say when it comes to jobs and working,
Mm-hmm.
because there is some sense for people that a job, it's very just utilitarian, right? I work to make money,
Yeah.
and that money provides a lifestyle for a family that I want,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if it's a good paying job, I'll do it so that I can
Yep.
equal this amount of money and it works for my family. Where others on the other opposite extreme is like, just do what you love and you can figure out a way to make it work and it doesn't really matter. And
Yeah.
if you have a passion for this, you just go. And you know,
Right.
it's that feeling.
Right.
Where do you think a healthy balance is?
Yeah.
Because both are great, but what do you find with people over time in a job? Like, where does the money play in? Where does the passion play in? How does this balance out? Because again, people working the baby steps are like, you know, I may be in this great job, making or in a job is I'm making good money, and if I change, I don't want to feel insecure about it. But like, how do you
Right.
balance it all
Yeah.
in a perfect world?
Well, if you were doing something that you were created to do, if you were in alignment, talent, passion, and mission, I got great news for you. You will be able to provide and you will also be able to contribute. See, those are the two emotions that every human has around work. If we just strip it down to two emotions, the first is provision. There's no
Yeah.
question about it. We do have to work to provide for ourselves if we're single or for others if we're
Yeah.
in a family unit. But the reality is that provision alone is not enough for someone to feel that meaning at work. It's just not, because over time you begin to focus on, well, yes, I'm providing a good check, but I'm not experiencing anything. So for the extreme side of it, it's, oh, I love it. I'm not making any money and I'm starving.
Yes,
but I
right.
love what I do. Well, that's the extreme too.
Yeah.
Because if you are good at it, then you will be able to provide. So it is provision and contribution. That's why we wrote the book and we titled it From Paycheck to Purpose. Yes, we must have a paycheck, but we long for purpose. That is, again, provision and contribution. So I hate to oversimplify it, but I believe we were created to work, to actually make something positive or do something positive for people. How do we do that? The creator of the universe gave us talent. We sharpen those into skills, power tools. The creator of the universe gave us a heart. We get excited when we even think about this type of work. You get excited before you go on TV, before you do a show, before you write, or before you teach. And then the creator gave us a sense of contribution and a sense of significance where we say, this result is significant to me. It may not be to you, but it is to me. So we put it all together, and you're on purpose when you use what you do best to do work you love, to produce results that matter. Now, when you do that, you will make enough money. I'm not going to play the get rich, like, you're successful only if you stand next to a private jet on Instagram. That's a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of garbage. But when you are doing what you do well and you do work that you love, and then the result you look at and you go, that matters deeply to me at the end of the day. I know I made a significant contribution. That's success. And when you're there, you'll make enough money.
Yep.
Because we know teachers, largest millionaire study ever done, net worth millionaire study done by Ramsey Solutions. Third largest group of net worth millionaires, teachers.
Yes.
Median salary in the United States right now with teachers, $60,000. They live on less, but they have plenty of juice because they love what they do and they know that they're creating a result that matters to them. So that's the answer to work.
Yep, I love it. Love it, love
Thanks.
it. Well, Paycheck to Purpose, you guys, Ken's new book is out and it is so good. So make sure to pick it up anywhere books are sold, and you can check him out at the Ken Coleman Show, radio, podcast, YouTube, all the things.
Yes.
You're everywhere,
Yes,
Instagram.
yes.
So make sure to go check out everything he's doing. Ken?
Thanks for having me. High five.
I don't know. It's kind of felt right.
I felt good about it.
I felt good about that
What
too.
was huge is that we made mostly good contact.
It was.
I feel really good about that.
Yeah, it could have been very off, but it was like, I don't know.
Felt it was
good.
good. There was nothing awkward about it.
Be an old man, you did a great high five, Ken. You did a great high
To
five.
be a child of the 80s.
Thanks again.
Thanks for having me.